As ma'am rightly mentioned, we need to understand the threat of terrorism in the more larger context. As far as the tool of counter terrorism is concerned, I believe that we need to look at the root causes of terrorism. See, we might have the credible differences, the foreign actors are doing so, but what we are doing at our hand, domestic factor, you have the socio-economic disparities, you have the political grievances, you have the political instability.
That is exactly what the authorities are aiming at, to bring in the socio-economic prosperity by bringing in such projects, the investment from the foreign countries also. And if the foreign elements are involved in trying to sabotage these gigantic projects, so where to look forward to? I mean, expecting the Afghan authorities, of course, if Afghan soil is being used for such type of activities by these banned militant outfits, so naturally there happens to be responsibility on their part as well. Pakistani authorities have been conveying consistently, continuously, as to what their international obligation as to not to allow Afghan soil to be used for terrorist activities is concerned. Initially there was a denial, and till a day came that Pakistan was left with no resort to attack within the Afghan territory. And we've had an episode on that in which you were one of the participants also, we already discussed. So what's expected, even if the regional countries come together? There have been a number of regional forums, including the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as well as the Moscow format. All of these forums have been raising the concern towards the de facto Afghan authorities. Well, what else is required to be done?
Well, I believe, as I just mentioned, terrorism is a global phenomenon. It's a transnational threat. It's not like if today Pakistan is the victim, others would be safe. I think the regional actors for that, specifically China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Russia, at the regional level and extra-regional level, if these countries need to foster more collaboration, more cooperation, because if today is Pakistan is a victim, tomorrow it could be another one else. Even the China is likely to be considered the escalating situation in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan really need to cooperate if they really want, as I mentioned, international recognition. If they want international legitimacy of their government, they will have to cooperate. It is in their common denominator. See, Iran has their own concern when it comes to Afghanistan situation, Pakistan has, China has, the Central Asian state has. So in the larger context, they will have to cooperate if they really want international legitimacy. As far as the Doha agreement is concerned, they will have to cooperate. As far as you just mentioned, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, yes, there are a couple of frameworks in place to counter this scourge of terrorism. I think Pakistan, in this regard, Pakistan has been the victim of terrorism, having lost more than 80,000 both civilian and personnel. So Pakistan has the sensitivity how to move forward. I think in this regard, China is very much considered, as far as China has lots of investment in Pakistan throughout the world. So China, an attack on Chinese workers in Pakistan does not necessarily an attack on the Chinese interest in Pakistan. It reflects sort of insecurity in the rest of the world. The Chinese are in place. So I believe, yes, terrorism is a transnational and global phenomena, and it really demands global and transnational cooperation to eradicate the terrorism in the region.
Right, Dr. Shabana, when we talk about the response by the both governments after this particular attack, how do you see that?
Well, the response has been very clear, firm, and also sensitive to the cause, and the reaching out to the reacting to the losses that have occurred, reaching out to the Chinese embassy, and going into the premises, and also holding the high level official meetings, including the armed forces chief, is something that has never been occurred earlier. It's been after AP's attack in 2014 and many other instances as well. That really shows the seriousness that Pakistan, Islamabad feels towards the issue, and also it also shows the reception of the understanding of on the part of the Chinese regarding the Pakistan. But I've been listening to all the discourse we are having here, but I would like to point out two things here. The first is that how do we come out of it? There is no magic bullet. And that's what I've said, either it is Western or Eastern, that it is just like the death is a reality. And to have a death by bullet of a political activist or a political violence is something that is unreal. It should not happen across the world. So this is the starting base. Now looking into the China, the government has will undertake a high level inquiry. All the aspects are being looked at. Political media side, everybody is looking at. I think I would like to put on paper is Pakistan and China are very close in the security terms and also in economic terms. We should have maybe later, rather we should have formed a joint task force of Pakistan and Chinese, both sides, to investigate the matters that have happened, because this is a third in a year. This is not something that can be ignored. So it is, instead of asking that we are doing enough and you should look into it more seriously, we recommend you, we do this. It is all right, it is there. But I think the best is, given the position of confidence that we enjoy, both sides have on practical understanding, sensitivities of one another, one should not shy away of creating that force and come it clear, because the propaganda will breed. And we all know that what's coming out on Economics Time today, where the PTM and others outlawed are saying what's happening is by the self-created proxies and by the Chinese. So this propaganda that
is there any tint of doubt left?
No, for us it is not.
Even supposedly considering this propaganda that you just mentioned, is there any tint of doubt left when there is a person, a serving Navy commander, who was from India, was caught red-handed, and he confessed that his aim and objective was to sabotage the China-Pakistan economic corridor?
This is perfectly clear. This is perfectly clear.
There had been a long list of incidents of such sort that happened in Pakistan which speak volume, and there is not even a tint of doubt that it is Indian hand which is sponsoring terrorism in Pakistan. General Raza already mentioned, we know there is BJP government, and Prime Minister Modi is eyeing the third term in India in the upcoming general elections in April and May. India has been involved in misadventures, the false flag operations, to malign Pakistan on the international front also.
Can I give you, give me a minute? Just hold on for a moment.
What about, recently we saw a very important presser that was conducted by the Foreign Secretary of Pakistan, Mr. Cyrus Sajjad Qazi, speaking volume about giving exactly the Indian agent, Indian involvement behind the murder of the two nationals here in Pakistan. So is there any tint of doubt left about Indian involvement and Indian?
Okay, you are in a mood. You go ahead.
Indian concern regarding the significance and the dividends of the China-Pakistan economic corridor that it brings for Pakistan in particular?
Well, I think I don't have to say anything, because you have made your
that's
point.
A
No,
question.
I'm sorry, but it's not a question. It's the big statements that you are making.
Is there any
we are
tint
not
of
here to say it has happened. We are only here to discuss the matter and to sensitize and understand it. This is a matter of being on debate on this table here. Number two is that you say, I know, we all know, but the fact of the matter is how to go beyond that. As a citizen of Pakistan and being a human of this globe, this is my right and your right. You know, we all know what's coming from, but why should not we be thinking of how to get rid what we are victimized? This is my approach. So I think that, fixing is not our job. It is what world is, it's crystal clear. We are living in a digital age. We are living in a disinfo age. So, as the analyst, we have to be very clear. What are the plugs that are pressed by the enemies who are hard on Pakistan and China, and how to come out cleverly out of it? This is my point of view.
So in the age of disinformation, what are your recommendations? How Pakistan and Chinese can come out of it?
I think number one is to educate through the digital media in a rational, practical way. It is not Pakistan problem if the Chinese only are killed here. It is all our problem. Chinese killed here is Pakistan, like Pakistanis killed here. There are more Pakistanis like us. So the same on that. So the discourse has to be on there, and be on the media and otherwise, instead of buying and stipulating what others are saying, we should be giving a platform, because our youth and our public lives on the digital age. They don't want to listen and read the newspapers. So this, in a propaganda age, that's what I'm very clear that the media is on it, but we need to be cooperating more. And there are many voices who are on it, and we need to support the platforms of discussion on this topic.
Right. Let me take this very particular point that you've just highlighted to General Khan. In the age of disinformation, with so many digital platforms available, and the age of propaganda, General Khan, what's your understanding how both Pakistan and Chinese can come out of it, as has been recommended by Dr. Shabana?
Well, I think when it comes to facing disinformation or cyber attacks, then I think China and Pakistan need to face this challenge collectively, and I think that's the only answer. And China has the technology, to control at least those algorithms which are used by the enemies of Pakistan to massively spread disinformation and fake news against the two countries. But having said that, I'd like to come back, to the Chinese statement of their Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They're expecting Pakistan, now in their words, to hunt down the terrorists and to bring them to justice. Now it is for the government of Pakistan to decide and to see where all can we hunt them down. As I said earlier, we will definitely, I think the hunt for them, if they are inside Pakistan, would have already started, and that should be in a very advanced stage. The hunt for them in Afghanistan, in Iran, I don't know, in India itself, of their mastermind and their planners, I think that should also be on the cards because eventually, I think if we have to bring them to justice and punish them, then I think all this has to be done simultaneously. We have to find out the sympathizers, the financiers, the logistic supporters of all these terrorists who carried out these activities both in Gawadar, Turbat, and here now in Dasu. It may take some time, but I think, as I said earlier, we will have to take a defensive action against them inside Pakistan, and if needed, I think cross-border actions against them as well. Preferably, I think in communication and in cooperation with China, there has to be intelligence sharing about such terrorists with China and with other countries. In my view, I think once it is firmly established that these three attacks were sponsored from India or any other countries, I think those countries must be immediately served with an ultimatum. They must be served with a démarche. They must be served with a warning, a very stern warning that such kind of activities will be punished. We will have to respond to them. And this kind of a response in self-defense is sanctioned by the Charter of the United Nations and that of the Security Council. In addition to that, I think we have to now complete the Pakistan-Iran border fencing. The government of Pakistan has to allocate budget for that because there are large gaps there. There are also some gaps between the Pakistan-Afghan border. They also have to be manned. We have to increase vigilance on the crossings. We have to make sure that all those unregistered Afghan refugees who are still in Pakistan, they go back to their countries. And if the government of Afghanistan is not cooperating with Pakistan in finishing or rooting out, the terrorist hideouts from their countries, then I think we should be prepared, they should be prepared for further disincentives from Pakistan, whether they are in the realm of trade, whether they are in the realm of, other preferential sort of political and diplomatic favors that we have been doing to them since 2021, and eventually it must lead to the return of all Afghan refugees, even those who are registered under a planned program in a graduated manner.
Right, Lieutenant General retired Raza Mohammad Khan, former president at the National Defence University, former co-commander of Pakistan Army, senior analyst. Thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. In the studio, we're joined by Mr. Sangeen, Panezai, security analyst. Please, quickly.
As just ma'am said, that we do know the problem that who are doing so, but have we, taken step, are we very bothered to take a more robust and effective diplomatic steps to tell internationalize the issue that, say for example, India is doing, yes, expose them.
The dossiers of those have been shared with the United Nations
Secretary General.
Unfortunately, we're short of time.
We need to improve ourselves economically so that we have political stability.
That's what exactly
not give a gap to those exploitable elements.
To do. Mr. Panezai, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Shabana Fayyaz, international relations expert, thank you very much for your time, also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's show. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.